coming in and we hit a wave. It wasn't even that big of a wave and we heard a loud snap. The transom popped. So the engine's about to break off and the fiberglass in the bilge cracked too, so there's water coming in. Oh, I hope that we don't lose the engine. We're in the middle of nowhere.
That means
all right, we got our fish in the box and it started to look real sporty out here. It's looking so sporty that we decided we're just gonna troll back home. We got 3 lines out right now. We just took a huge wave over the bow. That's when you know things are good, when waves are
wet.
Yeah, we're a little wet. As soon as I started videotaping, the waves calmed down a bit, which is great, or so my camera doesn't get wet. Woo! Got a little bit of water in the boat. Oh! Yeehaw! How you doing up there? Ah, it's not too bad. It's a bit of a roller coaster. I know when to start screaming and alert Andy.
Yeah. Oh, there's a big one.
Woo! Damn.
Woo!
Woo! That's a big boy right there. Oh yeah. Nice, you guys are getting the full experience. Oh, great. This is where things turn bad. The forecast was for the wind to die down in the evening, but the wind just kept getting stronger. We stopped trolling and started running back to our port at a slow cruising speed between 15 to 20 miles per hour, and at one point we hit a wave and hear a loud crack at the transom. The fiberglass started breaking off at the top bolts on the transom, creating huge pressure on the bottom bolts below the waterline, which started cracking through the fiberglass, causing water to flood into our bilge. We quickly slowed down the boat and tied ropes around the engine to try and relieve some pressure off the bottom bolts. If the engine ripped off the transom, the hole below the water would have been so big that it would have only taken a few minutes for us to sink. Every wave was cracking the fiberglass more, and this is where the video starts. Tie it to the tower. Tie it to the tower. Still so fucking far away. Yeah, you take care of this. Yeah. Come on, ladies, finish speaking, please. Coast Guard. We're south of Molasses Reef and we're taking on water, but we might be able to get back. That's what's taking on water. That's the Coast Guard said if you want more water, there's your GPS position over. It is north 2458 009, west 080 23 327. Roger, Captain. I have you at 2458 09 north 080 23 327 west, over. That's correct. I'll let you know if how it's going. We're heading north right now to John Penny Camp. All right, good. They got our spot. So worst case. Roger, Captain. What is the description of your vessel? Should include the name, make, length, and color. Over. It's a 23-foot key Largo center console with a black T-top tower with a second station up top, and it's a very colorful wrap on it. Roger, Captain. Thank you. What is the name of your vessel? Or let's have the base. South Florida Fishing Channel. Yeah, we hit a big wave and it ripped a hole in the fiberglass, so but we're just limping back right now. We got some more ropes. Are there any more ropes? The more ropes on that thing, the better. Nice, they're 5 minutes from us in case we do take on more water. This might be Coast Guard coming up right here. That's Coast Guard right there. Holy crap. Damn, look at them go. Damn, I love the Coast Guard. Within 5 to 15 minutes from putting out our Mayday call, we have a C-130 Coast Guard plane circling us. So huge thanks to the Coast Guard for being there so fast. I'm gonna feel a lot better about paying taxes this year. You guys just flew by us.
You say you're south of Molasses Reef, how far heading north?
We're about a mile and a half south of Molasses Reef Tower.
Would you like me to come out there and shadow you guys and make sure you guys are alright?
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm heading that way. You'll see a boat with a big water barrel. I'm heading, like I said, just north of Molasses, inside a couple miles.
So we were coming in and we hit a wave. It wasn't even that big of a wave and we heard a loud snap. The transom popped. So the engine's about to break off and the fiberglass in the bilge cracked too, so there's water coming in. Oh, I hope that we don't lose the engine. We're in the middle of nowhere.
That means we would lose.
Oh yeah, we would lose it 100%. Okay, big ball light, that's him right there. And I want to give a big thank you to Brian Lamb. He heard our call to the Coast Guard and was the first boat to come out to us. Shortly after, Towboat US and Coast Guard came to us and assisted in getting us back to the house. Our transom kind of like snapped and I'm worried that it's cracked under and I'm worried the engine's going to break the whole thing off. Oh yeah, we're still in 130 feet of water. Yeah. Nice flashing lights. Almost home.
Struggling.
Home sweet home. Well, we're back at the dock. Last night we lifted her out of the water. Why don't I just sum up exactly what happened? This was probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. If you remember the one video I posted with Dan where we got caught in the storm and we had lightning crashing all around us, and I thought that was bad. I'm going to tell you right now that this episode, getting stuck in that storm doesn't even come close to knowing you're about to sink way offshore. The sun's going down and there's no one around to help. What happened was we were about 4 miles south of Molasses Reef in about 300 feet of water. Molasses Reef Tower looked this big on the horizon. So way out, we were way offshore and the waves were kind of picking up. We were running and we hit one wave and we heard a loud crack. And I'll show you the crack right now. So here's one crack. It runs all the way down here. Here's another crack. There's a big crack. This one. These cracks ran all the way down. You see the crack runs all the way here. So this whole transom here. So my transom basically cracked where my engine's bolted in, and this whole thing wiggles. And when we were in those waves, my brother looked at me and said that it looks like cardboard because the engine, it was just moving like this with the engine on it. I thought the engine was gonna fall off any second. I thought the next wave, every wave was the last wave. Now there's 2 bolts down here. This bolt and this bolt, right there. And that's below the water line. So the water line's here and these bolts are down here. Because the top basically cracked off, all the pressure of the engine was pushing on those bolts, which cracked a hole on this fiberglass so you can see through the bilge. I'm gonna see if we can take a look at it right now. Yeah, here's... I don't know if I can get my camera in here. Okay, so this bolt and that bolt, and you see the crack here? The water was pouring out of this crack, filling up my bilge. So we were taking on water in the bilge from that crack. So every wave, this whole top part was just swaying, and I just thought, if this fully gave out on a wave and the engine would have ripped off, it would have ripped a hole probably about that big or bigger, probably two of them down there, and then we would have sank real fast. And it was getting dark, there was no boats around, and that's when I put out a mayday call, and within 5 minutes we had a Coast Guard plane flying above us and circling us, asking us if they need to drop a pump. The water leak our bilge was able to keep up with. About 20 minutes after that, we're still, at this point we're going about 3 miles per hour towards Molasses Reef Tower. It was the longest hour ever to get to Molasses Reef, and when we got close to Molasses Reef, there was another fisherman that heard the mayday call, and he actually came out to us. He was the first one on scene after the Coast Guard plane that was circling us, and he started to shadow us, basically driving next to us. He actually took a picture of us and posted it on social media, and I got a bunch of messages asking us if we were all right, because this picture you see a bunch of towboats and Coast Guard and everything around us. Super stoked he was there. I instantly felt 1,000 times better knowing that if our boat would have gone down, that it wouldn't be me, my brother, and my dad just floating in the dark in the middle of nowhere. The crazy thing is we saw that huge shark right before all this happened, so that kind of lingers on your mind a bit if you fall into the water at night. Then at that point, Towboat US, one Towboat US boat showed up, then Coast Guard showed up, and then another towboat came. Everyone left except the Coast Guard, and then Coast Guard basically just shadowed us, followed us all the way back here to the house. At that point it was pitch black when we got home. We pulled the boat out of the water, and it was, I guess you could say, a really close call. For me personally, the worst part of the experience was knowing that my dad and my brother were on the boat. That's not fun. The whole Winkler family would have gone down in one episode. We're about to fillet the fish, and we're gonna have ourselves a catch and cook. We also got some lobster that one of my subscribers sent. Joyce, thank you. But before we get into the whole cooking thing, who can do some fiberglass work for me? Because here's the dilemma I'm facing. I pulled my boat out of the water from right there, and my house isn't high enough, so I can't pull my boat out of the house. If I want to bring my boat somewhere to get fiberglass work done to it, I have to put it back in the water and drive it to a dock somewhere. And to be honest with you, I don't want to put this thing back in the water because that engine might fall off. We tied ropes to it. See, we tied all these ropes to it. If the ropes would have actually held it, if the top of the transom would have ripped off, I don't know, probably not, but we were kind of desperate at that point. But I'm not sure what to do now, how to get it fixed. I could take the T-top off, but that thing is bolted. No, it's got like 10 huge bolts in the stringers. They're like permanently in there. I don't know if we can take that T-top off, at least not easily. But here's what I want to do. I've always wanted a dive platform, so I want to put a platform that basically comes out maybe a foot, maybe a foot and a half, maybe even 2 foot if my boat can handle it. Come out here so the engine sits further back. I want to close this transom off. Boom, so every wave that I hit, I don't get water coming in the boat. And I just really want to make the whole transom of this boat super sturdy. I had the whole hole inspected before we put the tower on it, and it's a good hole. Doesn't have any issues according to them, so I'm not sure. I don't know, the transom just gave out. It's rated for a 250, so it's a 250 on there. It's not like I put too much weight on it. I don't know, it's just damn.